Hey guys, I'm going to be speaking about irrational fears in discussions, and it's uh, it's another outlined, written project. So I'm going to begin with the introduction. We all have fears that cause us to be entangled in our egos, trapping us into paranoia, forcing us to run through possibilities, and worse yet, to confirm ideas that haven't been brought into existence in cold and hot reality. Do we all actually have those fears? Reactivity and responsiveness to fears is totally questionable and also testable. Even a psychopath and/or a sociopath may access their fears, deeply rooted and sometimes shallowly inserted. In reflecting about these fears, they may consider the worth and value of self-diagnosed fears, and they may choose their next act or choice of inaction. The admission of one's own fears does not always suggest terror or dread, but at lower levels of anxiety, irritation, and an insignificant drop in mood, like a plane that lowers its altitude to avoid turbulence in the storm clouds, yet still must operate, mechanically struggle to stay afloat. Testing these fears requires a brain stimulant, sometimes just an agitating jolt of sound. Hence people who exclaim, "Boo!" Other ways of stimulating the mind may be drinking coffee, an energizer, a stimulating drink that grows your mind and allows it to travel from one place to another at high speeds. Drink coffee and be aware. Look up. Everyone's seeds of fear are different and warrant various responses based on what was learned. Unfortunately, seeds of fear have their varying degrees of damage, causing shadows that amplify during times of anxiety or activation, quote unquote. We may know these individuals who seem to operate on fear out of a second nature type of way as being sleepers. Seeds grow into plants and will bear the fruits that the seeds have been extracted from. All life experiences being available as fruits to devour and learn from and interpret. These seeds are planted inside your mind, not always in an educational environment, though always where you are present, where your ears are present, also known as earbuds sometimes, and where your eyes may be looking or may have always been looking, yet without your consent. Imagine now the pornography that you have watched, if ever, and think instead about the environmental factors, the color schemes, the people involved, and the simple and mostly quote-unquote basic seeming scripts that still invoke a familiarity. How aware is your brain during sexual stimulation? Your mind is extremely aware and is ready to be reactive. Even if you don't watch porn, you see sexual imagery and memes every day. What is the influence? What fears are also planted there? Basically, your mind absorbs and is highly accessible, and people have access as you continue to give permission. Yet, permission is also simply an idea that was planted in your mind. You have developed dormant fears and active fears, whether or not you think so, as we human beings are built to learn and secure ourselves from anything harmful versus what should be rewarding. Can you defend yourself, your mind, your personal space from fears we can and cannot perceive? Thankfully, it is possible to defend yourself from harmful information, even if it's in your visual or audio. What's really cool about defending yourself is that the more you practice vigilant questioning, the better you are able to reach outcomes more favorable for everyone involved, even your perpetrator. Vigilant answers will not defend you as much as you must have questions, gateways, and not end results at the ready. Obviously, you have to ask questions. You can think them and you can also write them down. You profit the most from your own Q&A. Protecting yourself isn't always going to be an obviously easy task. Sometimes what you will do is face your fears, treading lightly and also heavily in densely constructed mental weavings and patterns that included actions around those times. It's very important to know the difference between a quote-unquote kill and quote-unquote stun setting of one's learned actions from the past and of course continuing into the present. What a person does during times of extreme anxiety may be interpreted as an auto-response, a consequence that was dealt in reality for a cause that is no longer present. And when training, we might learn these actions and convince others of a quote-unquote kill instead of a quote-unquote stun. Again, asking questions is extremely important. And now you understand that so is delivering the right, truthful answers. Using these abilities, this knowledge, to place others into states of fear instead of calm and de-escalated states of mind isn't forbidden. And that's why vigilance is important. Bullshitting people is not the right thing to do, not the correct thing to do, and should not be the left thing to do either. Why do you think I told you that there's a right thing to do and now a left thing to do? Bonus thought provocation. Think of porn and OnlyFans and your state of mind when convincing yourself of what is correct, also known as what is right. Intentionally causing physical harm or boxing people into their fears is not a fair examination of questions and answers. Think knowledge base. Probably around 90% of the time. It's clearly responsible for a lot of the catastrophic, stupid, societally demeaning situations that occur. People will learn who you are inside and out if you so allow it. They will plant their control mechanisms, play with your physical impulses. They will use letters, numbers, instructions, and virtually anything for their agendas, organizations, and societies. Many people who hope to learn you will also find virtually an infinite amount of false flags if they confirm impulses with their knowledge base without fully understanding the individual as an aside that they are perceiving. The more real your knowledge base, the more weight and centeredness, gravity, fifth dimension on point, you should feel about your own life and decisions, and the better you will avoid circumstances that are better to avoid or will mismatch you. Check your fears. Can it be concluded, or better yet, is it truly irrational? All fears and preceding actions considering the seeds of reactivity, the lack of movement during depression, the anxieties in everyday life. Is there a method, a process, steps to every madness that is strung together like madness? How do heroes and villains play in to irrational fears, quote unquote, irrational fears, and the essential constructs, abstract and real, of reactivities and responses? Think about it. Hack the planet or secure the planet? We may conclude that no matter the color of your hat, no matter the color of your forehead, your biggest fear, and perhaps my own, is that gray matters. Gray matters from beginning to end. So check on your piece of the mental pie. Thank you and be blessed. Number, go, and find a warm place to be, or simply a plan.